Hello, everybody, and welcome to Woke Wellness Wednesday. It is a fabulous day over here in Los Angeles, and we are super excited to have Nay, someone magical, mystical, perhaps on the movie screens, doing crazy things. It's Wayne Garner.
Hey,
Woo!
how's it going?
Not too bad. In my head, I had this whole musical sequence that was gonna appear, but that didn't really work to plan. So, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good. Doing good. Just chilling out at home, getting ready for opening day tomorrow for the Rangers since they're the world champions and killed it this year. It's amazing. So been celebrating ever since then. So I got to wear the gear tonight and tomorrow. So that's pretty much it. Like just been kind of doing the thing. That's it's about all I could say. Like today.
What happened today?
Oh, nothing happened today at all. Like, I think today was pretty uneventful, actually.
I finally got behind a set of wheels. I got my car repossessed at 5 a.m. in downtown LA, and then I was trying to get used to this Prius tank today. But anyways, I forgot the taste of like good mileage in California. I was like,
Yeah.
So the last time you were here, that was on a Music Monday. I want to say what, a year and a half ago, 2 years
Yeah,
ago?
about a year and a half.
Okay. And then your Music Monday turned into Native American History 101 that I never knew existed. And it blew our minds. We were just like, what? That's some fucking betrayal, treachery shit if I've ever heard of it in my life.
Oh,
Yeah. So why don't you tell us a little bit about how you are going from a musician to a Hollywood actor?
yeah, it kind of happened crazy. Like, uh, I mean, basically, my buddy James Landry Abear, he's been in a lot of stuff. Uh, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Uh, I mean, like that was probably the biggest, but and then he was a main character on 1883, but
Okay.
he's been in a lot more stuff. Like he was in Stranger Things, the second
Hey,
season.
real quick, are you on the first season of 1883?
Yeah, there's only one season. There's only one
Oh,
season.
okay.
Of
And
83.
where can people watch 1883?
I think Paramount. I mean Paramount was streaming it. I think that's pretty much it. Paramount or CBS.
Oh,
But
I think it was Paramount. Okay.
but yeah, he went on tour with us when we were out there right before COVID hit.
Mm-hmm.
One of his casting agent friends was like, "Man, that guy should go to a casting call or set him up, something." And James was like, "Yeah, man, you should." And so I was like, "Well, I'd like to, try it." And so I just went and did the Killers of the Flower Moon casting call,
Mm-hmm.
and
And what's that about?
that's the Martin Scorcese film that it's about the Osage Nation. They had like when the tribes essentially got moved off the Trail of Tears and onto the land in Oklahoma just to speed it up because there's a lot to it. They were, they had allotments, and so you would have like the Cherokee Nation would be on one side of eastern Oklahoma, and they actually even donated some of their land to it may have been the Osage or Creek, but they donated.
Where are those tribes for people that don't know?
Uh, what are those tribes or where are they from?
Where?
They're the Cherokee Nation. I mean, they're from like our tribe is originally from North Carolina and Tennessee up into some in Kentucky, some a little south into Georgia, and some in Alabama. It's like they were spread out, but there was also some settlements that were up north that didn't migrate down. This is before pure pre-European settlement. So that tribe originated, from what we know, came from the like Iroquois Algonquin area
Mm,
up north, and that's where a lot of the tribes came out of. But yeah, so the five civilized tribes essentially were that eastern side of the United States, and the United States government, for whatever reason, wanted exploration on the land, and then to deem the land theirs for settlement. And so they basically made a raw deal with the tribes and moved them to Oklahoma, Trail of Tears. And so the Osage, where they ended up being, is like the Osage and Creeks were right smack dab in oil country in Oklahoma. And once the oil boom started happening, a lot of people started taking advantage of it.
okay.
And just, I mean, I'm not trying to be racist or anything like that, but you had, a lot of white people coming in and taking advantage and basically trying to get rights to a lot of the oil. A lot of them trying to sign deeds over. It's just a lot of illegal stuff. You got to watch the movie. I mean, that's because it's
Okay,
going to take a long time.
and then that's on 1883 on Paramount, right?
What's that?
It was what your frame of reference is
Oh
1880.
no, I'm talking about Killers of the Flower Moon.
Oh,
Yeah, and so yeah, I'm still on that. So, but anyways, I went to the casting call for that. Got a few callbacks.
wait, are you on the billboard?
No.
Dang it.
Yeah, no. But anyways, got a few callbacks and stuff like that for an actual role I'd never read for anything in my life. And so then COVID hit, and I didn't realize there was that many casting agents there. And so I started getting all these like emails for indie projects and people trying to film, kind of around that.
I have a quick question. How many years were you acting before the pandemic?
None.
So you literally just kind of like came in when the whole industry just went bleep.
Yeah, it was great. I mean, like it was, that's pretty sarcastic too. So I mean, it was just kind of like, hey,
It was great. I was doing well.
and kaboom. And but anyways, I got to film an indie film called Cheese Pizza. That was really good. It was a good start.
Is it about what?
And that one's about I play a hitman, and it's about two meth heads like running wild. And
Are they mad about cheese or what?
I guess they work in a pizza parlor. Is why it's called that. And they end up creating this rap. Like, dude, it's total meth. Like, just discombobulation. It's basically. If you've ever been around people that use heavy drugs like that, I mean, they come up with the craziest ideas and do the craziest wacky stuff. And so the writer and directors, of that project really did a good job with it. So I did that one, and then along with that, I got cast in American Underdog.
And tell us about oh my god, American Underdog. I need to see this.
Yeah, the Kurt Warner movie. So
Fox, right?
yeah, that was it got released through the theaters. It was a Lionsgate film.
Wait, I thought American Underdog. Oh wait. Oh, I'm thinking about the other show. Oops.
Yeah, this is a movie.
Okay.
But it's about Kurt Warner basically being, the underdog quarterback of the century, and ended up getting into the NFL and winning a Super Bowl and becoming one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. And so I got to work with some great people on that. Adam Baldwin, guy he played Adam.
Wow, that's cool.
Played Animal Mother in.
Wait, what was it like working with one of the Baldwin brothers?
Oh no, he's not one of them. He's not.
Oh.
He's not even. I don't even think Adam's related to him. No, he was actually in. I think he was there in Hollywood about the time maybe Alec started blowing up, and Adam was already in Full Metal Jacket. He played Animal Mother, and then he played in a bunch of stuff. I mean, he really did.
I I gotta tell you something. You know who I got to act with before they died?
Who's that?
Tom Sizemore. He's
Oh
kind
yeah,
of.
Tom's great.
I got to act with him. I was his girlfriend, and I'm in this red outfit. And this was right before he died, and he showed up to set at 5 a.m. in the morning, and we waited for this guy. And he was kind of hunched over, and he's like, "All right, what are my lines?" You know, like, you know
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah. Tom came to see us play at the Viper Room when we were on tour out there,
That's awesome.
and
For Tom Sizemore, rest in peace, man. Rest in peace.
yeah, and he was very, like, him and I were pretty kept in touch through social media, and
He's a
when,
chill guy, or was.
yeah, and when I toured out there, he decided, he was like, yeah, man, he was like, let me know when you're going to be here, and I'm definitely going to come, to the show. And so I told him, I said, yeah, we'll be at the Viper Room. And so I gave him the dates, and he was like, well, man, I'm not partying or nothing, but I'll come out and see you. And I was like, okay, cool. And yeah, he came out, and sure enough, he was there. And we got to hang out, quite a bit that evening. But then it was like he started working more and more, and I don't know. I mean, like, he invited me to one of his acting classes when everything started happening. For me, he was like, hey, if you're ever out here, or coming out, I'm going to be hosting these courses at these like little, I guess, like kind of clubs, dive bar type things, or I mean, where they did like small comedy and small band stuff, I think. And I was planning on trying to make it to one, honestly, and I just never. I mean, he ended up passing away not too long after.
Man, that was and I'm working on a film. I'm not gonna go into it. She's trying to do a Stephen King adaptation. I'll be playing Melissa, and then because of her, I was able to act with him, and we waited till 5 a.m. And having lost my mom and my brother, and knowing I waited for an opportunity that's never gonna happen again, that's definitely one thing that's a really, I guess, takeaway from acting. I have a question. What do you feel your responsibilities are being native in Hollywood?
When I'm there, I mean, but just in acting in general, because I mean, that's the thing, is like film has moved to um such, like, I would say it's been a drastic change over the last couple years with quote unquote Hollywood moving. And getting casting calls from Oklahoma to through Texas, and then some, LA. I think I did, one casting call was for a commercial with Miranda Lambert, and the read for it was on Zoom, and the casting directors were all in LA, but we were filming in Texas, and so but for the representation part, just in general in film, in that sense, it's kind of one of those things to where I don't get cast typed, I guess, so far. I mean, or so I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but um, I would say be more. I mean, for me, it's being more professional and
Okay.
knowing that I have this opportunity to um, come in possibly and you know not be looked at as someone that's going to just fit in a certain box, but I want to act. If I'm going to act and I'm going to do this, I don't want to play the jock every time, or um a bouncer, or I mean, I want to take it more serious than that, to where they're like, damn, he's a really good actor, and so I've been fortunate enough to take some courses and you know kind of get to study with some really good actors that are kind of offering that as well, that have been in a lot of things, and studying you know I think characters. I mean, that's kind of one of those things to where it's like, I've been watching a lot of Broadway plays, and a lot of Broadway characters during the day when I have time. And seeing how they, act versus screen, and how, sometimes overacting on, when you're filming
Mhm.
is actually going to transition to what is more believable, on the screen, because from what I mean, like getting to do lines and all that stuff, it's kind of one of those things to where I look at playbacks and everything like that, and I'm like, okay, well, I should have, moved more. I should have used my hands more. I shouldn't have been so, you know, um, too chill. You know what I mean? Like
Guys, I was
too
on set
relaxed. I
today and
mean,
I was just too chill.
yeah,
Just
too chill, too relaxed, and so for me,
do you
honestly,
piss
now,
people
well,
off?
now,
Do
but
you piss people off when you act like that?
no, no. I mean, because you've got. I mean, here's the thing: is it's like that was like kind of like in the beginning, and now it's one of those things to where I if I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it right, and I want my lines, and I want my sides, a couple weeks ahead of time if possible, so I can have plenty of time to have that down. If any writer or director is going to tell me how they want me to portray, I want to be able to get that going, and be able to create that character for them that you know that they're going to trust me every time that I mean I'm going to come in and kill it. So
I tell you a story. My first feature film, this was 2017, and it was a bomb ass script, okay? And I wish it came out, but anyways, when I did the audition, I didn't like the lines. I wrote it all on, I like ripped it up. I wrote my own version and then I just delivered what I wanted and I got the role. I was like, fuck your script. like, like, fuck your script. And
yeah,
I played this character, Don DeVise, and I wish they had the budget, but it was in the deaf community. There was gangsters that were deaf, and in acting with the deaf community, I had to learn how to slow down
yeah,
because I couldn't communicate. I don't know how to do that yet, right?
right,
And then in between takes, me and my friend, because him and I are the villain actors, and we're talking, and they're not. We hit the table to let each other know when their line is.
oh
So we had to kind of like be like, and then I'm like, this gay. He's like, I was like, you don't even know what I do around here. Pop, pop. like, oh, I wish that came out because I'm telling you, I had a good time. I learned a lot about working with people with disabilities and being patient in knowing that I'm just like on, you know what I mean?
yeah,
And feeling grateful that I do have the ability to be vocal when it comes to your creative ideas. You know what I mean?
oh no, totally, and that's kind of one of those things to where it's like one of my acting coaches that I've gotten to work with so far, Sean Kanan. He he was the main bad guy, Mike Barnes, in Karate Kid 3. Um, he was in Cobra Kai this last season as a main character. He's really, he's been in several soap operas as main characters, from General Hospital to Bold and the Beautiful, and he emphasized that writing your own stuff, how it helps you, develop character more, and I mean, how you can, increment like your own stuff into, a script, and if it works, it works. If not, then they'll definitely tell you. But yeah, no, I mean that's something that I think every actor should definitely do if they're frustrated with the script when they go in to read, or if they're going in to read, then you know why not make it to where they're more comfortable, in doing it. So
Yeah.
yeah,
So my next question is, how is your music background? Just to guys give you an idea, when Garner was on a Music Monday, he is the Native American country singer out there in the South. Yeah. So how's your music background played into acting and film?
I think for it's there's so many people that are like, I don't see how you can act, because I just freeze up on when it's time to go. And I think playing in front of crowds definitely helped it. um that was kind of the main thing that I've seen is, uh, and also memorizing lines.
Mm-hmm.
That's, I mean, if you can memorize 30 songs in a set list, you can memorize, a few lines and get them down right, and the breathing and the breaks and all that stuff. But that's helped out quite a bit, going from, stage into screen like that. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
what was the other part of the question?
It's right there on the screen. Oh, just how has your music background played into acting on film?
Yeah, so that's it. I mean, it's like, I mean, I haven't, no one's cast me to be, oh wait, no, I did. I did in a film called Butcher's Bluff.
Butcher's Bluff. What's Butcher's
Bluff,
Bluff
an
about?
80s style horror film that hopefully it's going to be out all the way here soon. Because I know that they were doing premieres for it, and the director had us come in, or my band, and basically be us playing in a bar scene. And so
Mhm.
that's really about all. I mean, as far as like my music playing into that, I've gotten um, several songs that uh, were acquired by film that didn't make it in, which I was like, dang it, because a couple of them were pretty big TV series and movies. But I mean, it's kind of one of those things where it's like I don't want to abandon music, you know, but at the same time, it's kind of been a love-hate relationship for me,
In what sense?
in the sense of like I love playing, I love touring, but you know, um, the reward versus the risk and everything you're doing, it's almost like it's not worth it, um, in one way, and then the other way, it's like, well, if it wasn't for music, I wouldn't be here, and getting cast and stuff.
So my question is, you're doing
But
music, you never thought you would get into acting. Who walked in the door and was like, "You now movie"?
I mean, I would definitely say part of it was James Abair.
And then who's James Abair? Just so we know, who's James?
He played Wade in 1883. He played I forgot his name, but he was in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. He bad Brad Pitt beats him up at the ranch scene, so he was one of the Manson
Do
family.
you elbow Brad Pitt to save Wayne? Oh
What's
wait, wait, I said it the wrong way. I said it all wrong. I was like, "Do you elbow Brad Pitt?"
no,
Dang
but
it!
but uh, I would say him and probably anybody that's given me the nod to play any character or cast me for anything really, whether background to main role stuff. Now, Taylor Sheridan um, was part of that. I would definitely say he pulled me out and said, "Hey, I need you guys right here," and it was me and another guy, and then the other guy, Gurry, was like, "Yeah, Wayne, come on." And so I'd say Gurry too, Gurry Sheffield, because I did some work for him too, as when he was on the directing side of stuff and casting some projects. So I've had like really good, I think for just starting out, good luck and good success. Um, and I've been cast in projects to have main character or principal character roles that have not, that were in development, okay? Like sheer development that have just either been put on hold
Mhm.
or have fallen apart. um, and I know the bigger ones,
Sense.
I know the bigger ones, were part of the strike deal, and around that time, so they're, definitely coming up here pretty soon. But yeah, I mean, so I've been fortunate, I really have, for not having an acting background or anything. I mean, I was just kind of like, okay, I mean, uh, here we go. So John Fu,
You know who didn't have an acting career and just I feels lucky as fuck?
who's that?
The dude in Wedding Crashers, the blonde one. What is his name?
Owen Wilson.
Dude, you're like an Owen Wilson in my brain, but
Oh
native.
yeah,
Because I was, yeah, he didn't have acting background. He had
yeah.
zero. But
I,
you got to realize he plays the same character every time.
yeah, he. It's funny because I knew well. I used to be friends with a guy that he played my band. He was an older guy. And because he was Owen's age, but they played tennis together at the University of Texas. And he said that he was just kind of that same guy. I guess you could say 24/7 that's him. That's just his.
Owen Wilson?
Yeah. And but yeah, that's I didn't have an acting background at all.
Okay, I gotta ask you, like, now that we talked about Owen Wilson and stereotyping and all in all cast typing and
Yeah,
knowing that you just kind of got dealt a lucky hand in a certain sense, right? Like
right.
me, I started in 2016. My mom said, "You got 3 months." I'm living out of a Prius, waiting for my reels to come back. You know what I mean? Just trying to figure that shit out. And then I got lucky. I mean, life is insane.
Yeah.
I'm sitting in Florida in an RV with a wall cut out. I
Yeah.
played a detective in this movie. It won at the Cannes Festival, and I was down and out. And I think that's one thing about acting. What do you think that it does to your confidence?
I think that it's one of those things to where for me, the confidence is it's certainly one of those things to where it shoots it through the roof. Okay.
Yeah.
But sense, it also can be pretty deterring because a lot of people can. I get hit up, just for example, I get hit up by a lot of musicians now, and certain people in the music world that are like, I want to get into acting. How do I do it? And I'm like, dude, I'm the last person you need to fucking talk to.
I would just be like, I'm Owen Wilson.
Yeah,
I
I literally showed up and they were like, you come here. You need to get fitted and you need to read today. And I'm like, what? What this fitted? What? I don't know.
don't get fitted.
I don't know what
I
your
am fit. I am fit. What do you mean fitted?
weird stage person are. And so, and I tell them, I'm like, man, I don't know what to tell you, and like I've had people hit me up that are like, I've always wanted to get into acting, so tell me your secret. I'm like, don't look like you, I mean, I don't know what to say. I mean, I'm like, because I've had them come up to me and say, I didn't get cast in this and I sent my stuff in. Well, maybe, you know, and like I tell them, I'm like, I'm not going to get cast as the Maytag man. I'm not going to get cast as
What the fuck is a Maytag man?
yeah, like the air conditioning fixer guy, but I'm not going to get cast, in certain, for commercials to play probably, the line dancing cowboy,
Right.
Stuff like that. And they need to understand that that's the same thing. Is it's like, I put in, for casting calls before I was shooting like sometimes 20, 30 emails a night, if not more, to different, stuff.
Then I would say the advice that you have to give, although you don't really even realize it, is grit, pure grit.
Yeah, because when it started happening, I really fell in love with it. But it was like, I was so used to booking my band and having to deal with
Now, buddy, is
venue,
you, buddy.
venue owners, managers, all that crazy shit, which we'll get to later.
Mm.
But having to deal with them, and then shooting out emails to casting agents that were like, "Hey, I really like your look. I can't use you for this, but I've got this coming up here. Would you be interested?" Oh, yeah, of course. Thank you. So it was like so much different, so much different. It was almost like I could take a polite no. I mean that's a great compliment to me. But it's I don't know. The advice that I can give is just stay with it. Take acting lessons. People tell me, like I've had people come up to me that have never acted before in their life, and that are like, I was going to take acting lessons, but I heard that it might hinder me. And I'm like, hinder you? Are you for fucking real? It's like, dude, you don't realize what goes into it. And
Are you for fucking real?
yeah, I mean, like, seriously, I've had people tell me the craziest shit. And I'm like, okay, well, it's like, you've got to be kidding me, because if you get on set and let's say you do get this part, and it's a small part, and you've got 2 lines, and you've got 30, 40 people on set looking at you, and you've got your one. I mean, I'm not trying to go all Eminem here, and lose yourself.
One mic till you lose it.
Yeah,
Get it.
like, you've got one shot here. Okay, you better, have a drink of water. You better calm the fuck down.
Eat mom's spaghetti.
You better be on your mark. And you better realize what the fourth wall is. And if you don't know the fourth wall and all that other stuff, dude, you're going to get up there and fucking bomb. Like, I mean, Pearl Harbor. I mean, dude, I've seen it. And I mean, I've seen directors just shake their head like, who the fuck cast this person? And so there's a lot of advice I guess you could just give. I mean, straight up, like,
going into what you said and like the acting classes and even my own hesitation with wanting to spend money into them. I think essentially doing Bobby Chance's acting classes, these 3 or 4 intensive workshops, 3 to 4 hour intensive workshops, ultimately the learning comes from watching others express themselves with what they're given. And kind of like
it's totally
it out,
things where if you're a raw talent and you have it, the acting classes are only going to enhance it. They're only going to bring it out more. Okay. And that's the biggest thing, is it's like being vocal and knowing the character you're playing.
Right.
That's the biggest thing for me, is it's like, I do my own, like when I'm alone. Okay. And I know I'm going to be alone.
What does wine do in the mirror solo?
Yeah. It's I will pick out a movie and pick out a character that I want to try and like emulate or do on my own. And I will record myself doing the lines of whoever it is in whatever film. And I will go from Rain Man doing, Judge Wapner to
how many toothpicks? How many toothpicks?
Yeah,
How many toothpicks?
Like I will literally record myself doing Dustin Hoffman in that, and like doing several lines.
To me, I'm Al Pacino.
And then I'll go, do Goodfellas. I'll do all across the board. I'll do James Caan in the program. I'll do so much stuff to where it's like, I'll go back and look at it and be like, okay, I need to be sitting right here. I need to be sitting right here. This is my shot angle right here. Just
the Mariah Carey side. The Mariah Carey side. She only shoots herself on one side, right?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
No, I know that. But like,
now that I told you that, it's gonna be ingrained in your brain. You're gonna be like, oh, the Mariah Carey side.
No, but yeah, I mean, it's kind of one of those things to where I go through it and go through it and go through it, but at the same time, it's transitioned so much. I mean, to me, even just talking about acting and stuff, to where it's like, man, like I said, I want to be ready for the biggest opportunity, I possibly could get. And I mean, I had a huge opportunity that's come down the pipe this past year, and it happened about a year ago, actually, right before the strike. I was at the it was the Chickasaw Nation, their film festival that they have, and my buddy James was there, James Aber, and along with Tatanka Means, I think it was, and a few others. And John Fusco was premiering Wind in the Reckoning, which is an amazing film.
Cool.
It's unreal. I mean, it's just a phenomenal film of the human soul and how empowering we can be, and to not ever give up and to keep going. Okay. And family. I think we've gone away from family, and in a sense of being native. And I know this is a Hawaiian based film, but the cultures are very similar, um, as far as like, tribes and everything like that, and family and staying close. And I think that as a society, we've gone so far away from that it's almost damned. It's almost a damned look at, you know, oh, your parents love each other, or, oh yeah, I'm married and have 5 kids, and that's great. And, it's almost like, people look at that and don't like it. And so this is, based in the, I think it's like the late 1800s or early 1900s, but it was the leprosy problem that Hawaii had. I don't want to give it away or anything, but
This is called Wind in the Reckoning, right?
Yeah, in the Reckoning. Jonathan Scates is in it. Who else? Damn it, I'll have to go back and look, but it's a great film. John explained at the end of it how they filmed it, how they did it during the COVID time. They all had to quarantine together. And
that's how you really get to know somebody.
Yeah, I mean,
what do they do if they don't get toilet paper? They pull out the vodka and tell their deepest, darkest secrets.
Yeah, I think they shot it within a month. I think the whole film. That's what he said. I'm pretty sure that's what he said.
That is called the sweatshop. That is the sweatshop. Pandemic people and creatives, that's sweatshop.
Yeah. So they were all in Hawaii on this island, and they did it. And, not to get into specifics or anything, but after the showing of the film, everyone's wanting pictures and stuff with John. And if people aren't familiar with John Fusco, he wrote Crossroads with Ralph Macchio. He wrote Young Guns 2, Hidalgo. Gosh, I mean, the list kind of goes on and on.
I want to ask you this. Who in your reality would you want to act with?
Well, let me get. So, okay. Anyways, after that, he asked me, he said, "Hey, I got a question for you." And he was like, "You're not going anywhere, are you?" I was like, "No, man, I'm here, man. I'm hanging out with you and James and stuff." And I got a million questions for you. It's kind of like you meet your hero, and he's so cool that you're like, "Oh my God, he invited me to come here and hang out with him," but I'm freaking up, And John was like, "Well, I'll go ahead and just ask you right now, man." He was like, "I've got a series coming up, and I don't want to give away anything and run my chances at this." But he asked me if I wanted the lead in the series to play the guy. And if you're not, like I said, if you're not familiar with John Fusco, he did Young Guns 2. The current one's Marco Polo on Netflix, The Highwayman with Woody Harrelson and Kevin Costner, Wind and Reckoning. The guy's a legend. And so for him to ask...
A legend. Is this how you spell his name?
John or Legend. Oh, he's got one coming with John Legend too. The fan.
Oh, wait, you told me John Fusco.
John Fusco, yeah.
Is this how you spell the man's name?
Yeah. Yep, that's it. And he's got that one coming down the pipe and some others. And then we'll be on to Attila. And so he told me, he said, "Man, just start studying horseback archery and Attila the Hun." And I actually gave it away there. But
did you guys hear that?
Oh,
he told us.
So I started studying it. I've been studying it, and I keep studying Attila. And I think I've read 5 books on him now. And just getting into how it's crazy how people get him and Genghis Khan mixed up. I think it's just the time frame and how people have portrayed him before.
Wait, hold on. I'm not a history buff, but I once cheated in history heavy. Okay. Attila the Hun, is this 1442?
Oh, it's way earlier than that.
Damn it.
Yeah, you're looking like a few. Well, I think it was like 400 years AD, 450 AD.
Did I get a 4? Did I get a 4 when I guessed? Like I said 1442.
Along the Caesar, the Roman Empire's thriving. People don't know this about that era because it's just so left out in history. It's to me, it's been the most interesting read, because people think of him as this big brute, right? And he was. I mean, he was a stout dude for that time. He was feared. He was a feared warrior, but he was also part of a trade through Rome when they would trade the young ones in, so the sides would basically always be, cool with each other, so they would always be friendly. And he became a scholar of Rome, and
no big deal.
Yeah, he was a scholar of Rome. The guy was so intelligent, it was ridiculous. And
like not that big of a deal, just the scholar of Rome. It's like whatever.
I mean, the guy, and Rome at that time, especially with Christianity and stuff, just everything that I got from reading about Attila, because they named him. He was such an enemy of. He was Rome's great friend. Okay, he was the guy that took care of all their bullshit. Okay,
so he's homies with Rome.
So yeah, I mean, like when Rome would go to fight, yeah, the Huns would come in and actually do the most of the fighting and killing, and then Rome, would come in and be like, yes, victory, we claim it, and the Huns would get their gold and go off. But that seems like that happened a lot. But everything I've read on him, it's like when he became the enemy, okay, of everyone, he was deemed that because of their mistake, not his. And so everyone loved him before, or at least, respected him. But as soon as this incident happens, he is, the scourge of God. He is, the worst of the worst. He's the devil, and it's like they print stuff up on him. They start media tales back then of him and demonizing him. And so
wicked bastards.
Oh yeah, dude. I mean, so the guy, I mean, people are just going to have to, hopefully, like, we do get to do the series, and I knock it out of the park, during reads or whatever. So I've been going with that, and the strike happened, and I'm still reading, still doing archery. I've got, I kind of grew up around horses and riding, and our horseback archery is a lot different. So you got to be pretty damn good on a horse. I'm pretty sure.
Wait, hold on. You got to like do bow and arrow shit on a horse?
I think it's just, that's one of those things where we'll have to talk to John in production more about that. And so, I mean, it could be, but
okay, like what are the tips on how to do this? Like, so like right, left, and then like go in, and then you like yank the shit from behind your back.
Okay, well, they're so skilled back then, both. It's you have to, I mean, you're shooting, like when you go to shoot, a lot of it has to do with that gait and how the horse is. I mean, like, you have to be so in tune with that horse, or riding, essentially. That.
Wait, I have a question. Are you making a friendship with a horse right now?
No. I'm friends with a lot of horses.
Because apparently the guy in Lord of the Rings, Viggo Mortensen, like, even on his off days, was with the horse.
Oh yeah, well, you have to be. Well, yeah. See, that's who John cast in Hidalgo, and he was in Young Guns 2 and had never ridden a horse. And so when he was on a horse in Young Guns 2, that was his first time ever to be on one for a couple of seconds. And then, John, sees him, and he, from what I gather, he's like, I've got this, other film I think you're going to be perfect for. And so he gets Hidalgo, and, I mean, he's having to ride like crazy on that. So yeah, I mean, yeah, whenever if you're going to do your own stunts, or you're going to be doing your own riding, you have to know your horse. You have to know. I mean, like I said, I grew up around horses and rodeoing and everything like that. And, people, I mean, I can feel it. Like, I can get on a horse, and the way they're moving and the way they're walking at first, I can tell if they're like, come on, let's go. Let's
I actually have a little thing to tell you.
Fun. I mean, like, and then I've been on horses so where they start walking sideways a little bit, and I feel that, their front steps kind of, buckle, to where they don't want anybody on them. And as soon as they start doing that side step to jerking that head back up and down, they're about ready to cut out. I mean, and we were out horseback riding a couple of years ago, and I told the lady that rented us the horses, I told her, I said, hey, this horse is about to cut out bucking. I'm not kidding you. I know you are we're saying that this is the chillest, oldest, mare you got. And I didn't care. I didn't, give me a fresh one. I don't care.
Give me a fresh one. Is that what
I-
you said when it came to the horse? Hey, man, can I get a fresh one?
And I told her, I said, she's about to cut out on me. I said, she's sidestepping and she's moving skittish. I'm just letting you know that we need to get past this gate because she's about to cut out. I'm not going to land on a bunch of damn poles. And she was like, oh, okay. And so we traded horses, and one of the people that owned the place got on her, and sure enough, she hops on her and starts to walk with her, and boom, cuts out bucking.
What?
I told you,
Idiot.
Yeah, I'm not an old rodeo hand like gone, forever on it. But man, I've rode enough horses to where I know,
I got a fun story for you. So when I was 15, my mom lost some money, and all of a sudden I was sick in the car, and all of a sudden I wake up and we're in the desert. I go, Mom, where the fuck are we? I'm like 15. I'm like, where did you take us? Like, so we moved to the desert, and somewhere in there she goes, I want a horse. I go, Mom, we're city people. We don't know what we're doing. Like, I was like, we do not have any idea. And she didn't just get one horse. She didn't get two. She didn't get three. She had four in our backyard. Okay. And there was this girl. It's kind of a disturbing story. I'm probably telling you too much, but in Lancaster, there was this girl, and she was in my math class. She goes, Dahlia, if you don't have a shade over your horse, you can have a felony. I was like, yeah, bullshit. Bullshit. So then the neighbor, crazy wacko Jerry Springer character, right?
Yeah.
She ratted my mom out about the fucking shade on the horse. My mom was devastated. I was like, Mom, I told you we were city people. We didn't know what the fuck we were doing. Anyways, we had a stallion in our backyard. Yeah. I was terrified of this thing. And I was home alone once, and I was on some drugs. Anyways, I was on some drugs. I'm a teenager, and all the horses got out in the stable at like 2 a.m. in the morning. And I was like, oh my God. I have to put them back.
Like drugs. Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, I would never ever say this on my show, but as a teenager on drugs, the horses got loose in the backyard. But I will tell you, the things that you learn from the relationship with a horse and having that connection.
Oh, yeah.
They actually did a study that anyone that deals with mental illness, they should be around horses because it activates your frontal lobe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, horses feel everything, right? I mean, they're going to know everything about you pretty quick. And I've had like my first.
You could bring a horse to the boardroom.
Yeah, my first horse. When we got him, he was actually buted. So he was super calm. Like he was.
What does that mean? Buted.
Basically, they gave him a hydro, and he was like, "Ah, yeah, cool, yeah, you can hop on me. Come on, man." And cool, yeah. And I rode him around. I'm like, man, he's really calm. Back him up easy. He's easy to back up in a box, which is in a rodeo arena, and backing him up in a box. And because I tried to steer wrestle, and I did a little bit in high school. But I was like, man, I literally, I'm sitting there and I'm like, man, I feel like I could just stand up on him. I mean, that's how calm he was. So we go ahead and pay the guy, get him in the trailer, and we're taking him back to my buddy's grandpa's stables, and very, very nice ranch. Very nice rodeo arena. I mean, we're
in Texas. There's nice ranches everywhere.
Well, no, this was Oklahoma. Oklahoma. And so, I mean, it was basically almost the same thing. But the next day, a couple of my buddies are like, man, let's go see your horse, dude. Or it was like 2 days later. And we got out of school, and we're like, okay, cool. And so we get out there. I'm like, yeah, I'm just going to ride him around, and kind of work him a little bit, lope him, and then try and back him up in the box, see how he does again. And, I mean, I remember like the whole plan I had set for him. And we'll probably start working him on some steers, hopefully this weekend. And Dude, I got him saddled up, and he's acting a little ornery anyways. When I was getting him saddled this time, I was like,
Honorary. He was acting a little honorary.
yeah, he's, tried to bite me a couple times. I'm like, what the fuck, And and so I get him out there, I get him out of the barn, and I get on him. I'm walking him around. One of my buddies is like, yeah, man, I want to get on him too. Like, when you get done messing with him and doing your stuff, I'd like to ride him around. I'm like, okay, cool, man. And so I was trying to peel him off into the arena. I'm like, he's just jerking his head, and he's like, fuck no, I'm not going in there. And I'm like, come on. I'm trying to get him to go sideways and make his turn. And he starts, basically arguing with me. I mean, he's like, no, you're not going to take me in there. I'm going over here. And so we have this little constant battle. And I was such a pipsqueak on this horse. Like, I mean, as far as like, showing him who's boss. And I was like, kind of,
yo, that's so funny. That's so funny you said that. Okay, real quick. When the horse bit me, it bit me right in my arm muscle between your fat and your arm where it hurts.
Yeah.
And I grabbed that horse's face. I was like, I'm the fucking boss. And I just shook his head. I was like, yeah, you think you are? It's me.
I mean, that's the thing. But I went ahead and gave him his head, and I let him, he wanted to go somewhere with me. I was like, what the fuck is he doing? And I gave him his head, and he got close to the walker, which is like this little like merry-go-round thing for horses, and next to this gate, and he just cut out in a straight buck run. I mean, it was insane. And I mean, he felt like I'd been on horses before that had bucked a little bit, but dude, he felt like straight up rodeo bronc, and shot me. Like, I mean, I almost landed right on that, right on the fence, and big old metal gate. And he's like, my buddies are just like, I'm looking at them because I land perfect and not hurt or anything. I'm like, wow, that's the easiest place I've ever fallen before in my life. And I look up at them, and they're like,
cush landing.
Yeah, they're looking. Their eyes are, as big as silver dollars. And I just remember looking at the horse, and he was just, I mean, bucking right down the road. I mean, or right down this like little dirt road, like just going. I'm like, and he didn't care. He just kept going. I don't even remember how we got him back, but and then the next day I went out again. I got him in the arena and tried him there, and I was by myself, and he was doing okay. And I started loping him a little bit, and he wanted his head, and I gave it to him a little, and then straight buck. Sit there for seemed like 5 minutes bucking while I'm, pulling dirt out of my mouth. And so that went on for probably about a couple weeks. And, a couple of my friends and stuff were like, man, you got to bite the bullet on it, and you're going to have to invest a lot of money in getting him really broke and getting him cattle ready and stuff. So it's something that you might want to go ahead and get rid of him and get one already broken and ready stuff. And right. I didn't have time to waste. It was like, man, I really got to get it done now. If I had a year and $30,000
a year,
yeah.
A year?
Oh yeah, they're gonna have to work with something like that. I mean, it might not be a year, but you're gonna spend a lot of money, and it's gonna be a lot of time with a horse like that.
I told my mom, I said, Mom, we are city people. We
do
not know what we're doing.
Yeah, that's the thing, is it's like, man, there was a lot of horse trainers and stuff that quoted us, and some of them didn't want to touch him because of what we were going to do with him. Some of them were like, yeah, you're going to, be rodeoing on him. You need to take him to, you're going to have to get him, good and broke. And then also you're going to have to get him, used to running cattle and stuff. And so, but yeah, it was one of those, I mean, I've been around horses. I'm no expert or anything like that, but I can feel them and know what I've got, what I'm sitting on. But that's the thing, is it's part of the project. If fortunate and blessed enough to continue on, that we get to continue on, and I end up, coveting the role completely, then, I'll definitely be ready. So
Last question, because we are almost at the hour. We got 5 minutes left. If you guys have any questions, now is the time. Who in your reality would you like to act with?
that's a great question. That is, because there's a
I
lot.
love to ask good, juicy questions.
Yeah. I
Mhm.
would probably say, um, Emilio Estevez.
Really?
Oh yeah. Yeah. I think
Okay.
Emilio's great. I would have said Patrick Swayze, I thought he was phenomenal.
My dad went to school with him in Texas. I was born
Oh
in
yeah.
Houston. My dad went to school with him. My dad went to school with Patrick Swayze.
Yeah. And so I would say Pat, and then, now, I mean, I would definitely, Emilio or,
Wait,
George,
Emilio? What am I missing something? Why
who
Emilio? Yeah.
I think he's great. I think, what he did in Young Guns and Young Guns 2, Repo Man,
Okay.
uh, he to me, he's top of the line.
Top.
And it's one of those things where I think with Emilio, maybe he got into writing more, and not so much, you know, starstruck with the Hollywood lights, because I,
I see. I see. I see. I see. I
uh,
see.
I think he's a great actor. Gerard Butler, um, most of mine. I mean, I think Danny McBride would be fun. I mean, that'd be fun to work with. Walter Goggins. Um, shoot, Kurt Russell. You know,
Yo, that would be okay.
yeah.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Um,
Manifest. Manifest. He's still
uh,
here.
Samuel L. Jackson. Yeah, I think
You'd
that.
be one lucky son of a bitch if you got
Oh,
Samuel L. Jackson.
oh, all those. I mean, it's almost like the Tarantino characters. And
I thought you were gonna tell me that you want to act with me because I already saw a movie in my head. Because if I'm the detective, I came up with it while you were talking,
yeah.
so I have an idea. Okay, because you said in Native culture, you guys are all about family, right? So what if in this movie, hypothetically, and I have all the money, blah 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 blah, somebody kidnaps my kid, and you're the police officer with the information, but you're withholding it, and I get mad at you trying to get my kid back. Boom.
Well, we've got a film that I'm actually like doing here. I wrote the script called Merciless Indian Savage, and
Merciless.
it's similar to that. And so, um, yeah, no, I mean that definitely be really cool.
Yes. Oh my god. Okay. As long as you said like that's a good idea. Like I
No,
can
it's a
totally
great,
go at night.
yeah. But I have to promote the film
Go ahead.
that to jump on.
Is this authentic artist?
No, no, no. This is a
No.
film.
Okay.
Quick, I'll sum it up. Knucklehead. I'm playing ex pro
Knucklehead.
ex-pro baseball player turned bounty hunter, and it's a sci-fi type movie. That's my character. I can't give too much away.
Hey guys, all you need to know is Knucklehead.
Yeah,
Okay.
Knucklehead's gonna be great.
Garner. Go follow his Instagram. Okay.
Yeah,
Garner.
uh, I'm gonna try and get this business off the ground here pretty soon. Called Authentic Artist, and
Okay, that's where I was gonna ask. Okay,
yeah,
authentic artist, hit us.
it's gonna be helping actors and musicians, essentially singer songwriters that aren't in management, I guess, like coming up into it, and um, basically overseeing, like looking over their contracts before they sign. Because the way I see it, and having to go through all that before, it would have been great if someone would have been there for me to be like, hey, if this person believes in you so much, as far as like, this goes with booking and everything like that, because there's so much, stuff to know out there. They need to sign your contract too. And that to me empowers the artist and the actor as well. Had a issue. The main thing behind it is my old manager from Nashville had put us in a really bad spot, and he was responsible for blowing up a lot of acts. He did great, but with me, it was like, oh, I'm going to take 15% gross of your tour earnings every month, and everything that I'm supposed to do, I'm not going to do a fucking thing for you. And so it would be good to have lawyers, at our, dispense to help, the artists and actors and whatnot, to just tell them, hey, well, if they believe in you this much, let's adjust this contract. Let's put realistic goals here. And if these realistic goals aren't met in a certain time manner, then the percentage that they've been getting goes back to you. I think that's pretty fucking fair.
You got to be authentic.
I think that evens the plan. And so with that, I don't want to charge people. I want this to be grant funded.
Wow, that's awesome. That's amazing. We have an audience member in the back today, ladies and gentlemen. I am not 4 people clapping hands. I'm only 2. I love that idea. No, you know what? My mom was a lawyer. She told me when it was 2016, I had half of my head shaved, and I got back from Portland, and I lost the job at Microsoft. And she's like, Dahlia, I'm giving you 3 months. You're going to fucking figure it out. The way I became SAG-AFTRA Taft-Hartley was a Ford commercial driving a new Toyota Prius. My entire family works at Ford in Michigan. The irony was huge.
Yeah.
Huge.
No, that is. I mean, that's a really big thing.
Huge. My whole family, my uncle's been welding for 30 years. He wakes up at 5 a.m. He's got the 5 kids. He pays for the insurance. He is the epitome of the father,
Yeah.
So
scholar. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What could you? When are we launching the Authentic Artist for all of us tuning in?
I'm not sure. I mean, I'm gonna hopefully have it set probably midsummer, to where
Okay.
I'm have a couple people come on to work with me, or just someone that's a really good grant writer.
Okay.
To get what
I know a guy in Guatemala who's a grant writer. I don't know, just out there.
To get what I'm wanting to do, it's like, I want to be able, because I mean, nothing's for free, I guess you could say. But I'm not going to be charging artists anything, and I'm not going to have attorneys charge artists. So I want to make sure the grants take care of that. And so when somebody comes in and says, hey, this person showed up to my show, they say they're a manager, they gave me, we've been talking, they sent me a contract, I don't know what to do. And essentially, take a look at it, let an entertainment lawyer take a look at it, and then go from there, and then start voicing terms and suggestions to them, and what questions to ask, because that's a big thing. Is it's like, I mean, anybody can go say they're a manager, okay?
Right.
And
I already know.
Yeah, and the guy that I use now, who I work with a lot, Roger, he's got connections, okay? And that's the big thing, is connection. And what it's like, dude, within a week and a half of us working together on the film stuff, on one of the films that I wrote, he had Brian Slagle sit in at a meeting. And if you're not familiar with him, he owns Metal Blade. It's the biggest heavy metal label. They have a Slayer, they had early Metallica. I mean, like, dude, they basically blew metal up in everybody's face. I mean, Brian Slagle's the man. And that's the big thing right there, is it's like the connection part, to where it's like, dude, when you start seeing guys like that, and you've learned from them and their connections, it's like, dude, that can help artists and actors. It can change their whole career. And so you want to be able to tell those new artists and new actors, hey, you need to see their connections. You need to see who their real connections are.
Yeah.
And who they know that books. What booking agents do they know? Right. What, because you want to separate that from management to booking. Okay. And so many times in Texas, I've seen this whole thing of like these, country booking agents, Billy Bob and Suzanne, coming
Bumpkin
to
Productions.
Bob and Suzanne. And they, get up on, they come to the after parties or hang out afterwards, and they're, giving their card out and stuff. And, you talk to them and they're like, well, we want a proposed deal. And you're like, oh, what the fuck's the deal? And I mean, it's like happened to me so many times. It's funny now. Most of the time most of the time back, a few years ago when they would do it, I just dropped the card on the floor, or I'd have Dan, our steel guitar player, buffer. And so Dan would be like,
you've been with that guy forever, right? The guy with the whiskly rabbits.
Oh yeah.
Okay. I'm sorry, I don't know his name. I just know him as Whiskily.
So what's the connections? And they're like, well, first of all, here's what we want to do. All right. We've got not just artist management, but we've got booking as well. So we want to do an all-inclusive deal to where we're getting 10% on the booking, but then 10%. And oh yeah, dude, I'm not even gonna go into it, but the last
he's like, don't let me do it. Don't let me do it.
It was like after, but we were at we were playing at a venue in Austin, bigger venue, and this guy's a dung pile.
Repeat it for the people that can't hear in the back. He's a what? He's a what?
Total piece of shit, dude. Like, I mean, just like he kept dropping like joints right on the floor.
What?
And he'd be like,
whoa, who does that? Who does that?
Hey, somebody drop that over there. And a couple of times it worked for, a couple noobs, I guess, that were hanging out. But I was just kind of like, what the fuck, dude? I don't want this guy nowhere near my fucking band. I don't want him near my.
Who drops blunts on the floor? You sadistic asshole. No one should ever do that. I'm sorry. I get to say what I want. It's my show. That's bizarre.
But yeah, no, really bizarre. And he kept calling me Aquaman and shit. And finally, I just told him, I was like, dude.
Clock him? Did you clock him? Did you give him a left hooky? Did you
give him I was pretty professional about it. I said, dude, you need to get the fuck away.
What? You professional? Come on.
Like, you just need to get the fuck away. It's basically keeping those away, I mean, I'm trying to be good. I'm trying not to.
He's all like, he's got a Siri app. You have an app on your phone. Wait, excuse me, ChatGPT. How should I handle this situation?
Yeah, dude, it's like Goose Fraba. I mean, I'm trying not to go back to prison.
Oh well,
But no, that's it. Is we want to
Sylvester Stallone origin stories. It's all good.
Yeah, but I just want to, I want to be able to help artists and actors and stuff that are coming up and make sure that, it's the giving back factor of stuff. I wish that would have been around.
Yeah, dealt a good hand. Now give back.
Yeah. But I wish that would have been around for me, like when I was coming up and stuff. And I figure that's a good way to, help some folks out and stuff. So it's something I'm definitely, it might be a passion project. It might take me 2 years, 3 years to get it off the ground. But I definitely want to do it. And when I have to go away for acting or playing, my stuff, doing shows and whatnot, I want to be able to have a good crew that I can trust that's going to run it right, So that's pretty much it.
Pretty much it, ladies and gentlemen. This was a woke Wellness Wednesday. I know Wayne didn't want me to say that, but we were getting nitty gritty.
I'm not.
He's not woke. He's not. He's the or not. I am the stay woke. He is the or not. And that's okay. We exist in this coexistence of non-existing. It's all good. You guys, Wayne Garner, a fantastic artiste in all levels. Superb. Butcher's Bluff. I have other things. 1883. If you guys are just tuning in, we asked some really deep questions. He agreed to be in my movie. They
trapped me.
I brought him on the show to get it live to get an agreement. It's really not that big of a deal. I'm an authentic artist. You told me.
Yeah.
You guys, what a pleasure. Absolutely amazing time. Thank you so much. Woke Wellness Wednesday. Stay woke or not.
Not. Bye.